funds moving from central exchanges to self-custody or personal wallets is very much related to market volatility. We have seen this happen in 2018. We have seen this in 2021 when China banned crypto mining. Such events do trigger such movements. And I think that it's important to understand that actually both self-custody and central exchanges play a very important part in the ecosystem, regardless of what happens. When we talk about self-custody, it's also very important to understand and appreciate that actually last year in 2022, besides all things that has happened with Luna, with FTX, we also did see a lot of DeFi protocols get hacked that resulted in self-custody customers being affected. It's important to understand that this infrastructure or these players are very key to the industry and should have very good processes and security in place regardless of what's happening. So I do think that self-custody will play a very important part in decentralization. But I think we need to understand that centralized exchanges also do play a very critical role in the ecosystem. There are many different pieces. Self-custody is one of them. Centralized exchanges is one of them. DeFi protocols, many other services that will come into play. And they're going to be services that depend on each other. Because while we can look at decentralization very narrowly, this ecosystem will never be complete without centralized exchanges. I think if we can look back at 2022 and look at what we can learn in terms of the lessons, at the larger scheme of things is the need to really build a better trust in the ecosystem. Trust has been deteriorated, whether was it hacks in DeFi protocols, whatever happened with Luna and FTX. And I can think of three things that the industry can focus on. One is definitely better regulations. Second will be much better security. And third will be educating the whole industry. This is something very key. What we are seeing in the industry is a lot of new technology and services coming out, but really the fundamental education is lacking. So a lot of time it's very opportunistic or very speculative, and then when everything crumbles, right, there's no fundamentals. So I think education is a very key component of helping institutions come into this ecosystem, doing custody with a bank like BNY Mellon that has custody services. So what's the risk that they are going to take comparing with self-custody or even putting funds with a central exchange or interacting with DeFi protocols? So I think education is something that's very critical, especially at this stage of the industry. Institutional adoption of cryptocurrency is definitely critical in the growth of this industry, and we have seen that in the past 2 years where we have seen institutions come in very strongly into this space. While it will complement the other aspect of it, which is retailers in this industry, they are going to be a very important part of how this industry grows this year and beyond. At the end of the day, I think for institutional investors, for them to enter in, they want to make sure that it's a healthy, stable ecosystem, an industry that they can trust, and this is something that we need to do and do better. One of the other key components would be how government and regulations evolve, especially in light of what happened in 2022. So that will be another key driver, and obviously that will impact how institutions come in, how strongly they come in, or how cautiously they come in. On top of that, security is very key in this industry, as we have seen many hacks that has happened in 2022. Many people have lost their passwords and had their funds stolen from their personal wallets. I think the industry needs to see better security in DeFi protocols. We do see protocols that have very weak algorithms of auditing, and that needs to take place in order to build more trust in this ecosystem. So I believe that in this year, we are going to see probably more regulations, more oversight into DeFi protocols, but these are very critical in order for institutional investors and retail investors to enter this space with greater trust.